The CSS block element boxes are stacked in a single vertical column in what is sometimes called a normal flow. But what if we want those elements stacked both vertically and horizontally? Let's walk through the answer to that question. By default, HTML elements are either inline or block. Inline element boxes display horizontally, in line with other content. Span, anchor, and image are inline elements. The italicized text here is within a span element and is displayed in line with the other paragraph text. By contrast, block element boxes display vertically, one on top of the other, and are the full width of the display. Heading, div, and paragraph elements are by default block elements. These paragraphs are block elements and are stacked vertically. In many cases, using this default display behavior is all we need for our web pages. But for more complex layouts, we want more control. The display property gives us more control by changing the flow for an element. Some of the valid values of the display property include none, which hides the element's box, block, which displays the element box with a line break before and after the content. You can adjust the width and height of a block element, which changes the size of the element's content. Another valid value is inline, which displays the box in line and does not add a line break. You cannot adjust the width and height of most inline elements, since they are displayed in line with their surrounding content. And lastly is inline block, which combines the features of inline and block elements. Inline block flows like an inline element, but allows setting a width and height. Setting inline block is useful when flowing small blocks horizontally. The best way to make sense of these display properties is to see them in action. Let's try out the display property. I have VS Code here on the left with the resume folder open, our two files ready to edit, and live server running. The browser is displayed on the right. Let's try setting the display property value to none. In the page-header class style rules, let's set display to none. And our header disappears. Setting display to none is useful if you want to hide some content and later show it based on a user action. But showing content on user action requires some JavaScript. So for now, let's remove this property. Next, let's try out block. We can use block to stack our inline elements vertically, like block elements. Looking at the index.html file, scroll up. We have several inline elements, including a span here and here, our links here at the top, and our image. Let's change our links to block so they stack vertically. We'll add a style class to both of our links. We'll call it page-header-link, and I'll copy and paste it into the second anchor element. Then in the style sheet, we'll declare a style using our page-header-link class as the selector. We'll set its display to block. And bang! Now our links are stacked like a block element. Let's give it a bit of padding at the bottom for better spacing. Padding bottom 10 pixels. Nice. Let's open the developer tools. Drill down from the header element to the anchor element. We see that each anchor element is now a block running the full width of the display. Now let's do the opposite. Let's set one of our block elements to a display of inline to stack them horizontally. Let's try it with our list of skills. We want them to appear in line. Here is our skills class selector. We'll add the display property and set it to inline. In the browser, well, that didn't look like it did anything. Let's take a look at the developer tools. Drill down to the element with the skills class, main, section, div. Navigating further down, the paragraph elements inside the div are block, so we aren't getting the result we expect. We really want our paragraph elements in line, so we need to define the display property on the paragraph elements, but only those paragraph elements within the skills class. So let's cut the display property from here and paste it here. Notice our last two paragraphs are now displayed in line. Why didn't it work for our first paragraph? Looking at the developer tools, it's because the first paragraph is within another div element. To get all of the elements in line, we can also add the display property to the skills-highlight class. And they're all displayed horizontally in line. Did that help clarify the difference between inline and block, and how to change their default behavior? But what about the inline block setting? Let's try that out next. If you are enjoying this course, please like and subscribe.